We, the jury, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty.
By now, most of us have heard of the millennium bug.
Every night in my dreams.
There was a crisis test of faith at Liberty University in the late 80s and the early 90s. Funds were low, and even accreditation was in question. Dr. Falwell, he led us to fast and pray, and we prayed for God to give us a miracle. We received a gift for the Reba Thomas Dining Hall and also the Vine Center. God has done exceedingly, abundantly above all we could ask or think.
One day, Jerry called and announced that Jim Bakker was going to be accused of sexual sins. And he said, that is going to hit us hard. Dr. Falwell said in chapel, he said, things are really black. He said, I don't know. Maybe we won't have enough money to buy toilet tissue. And the next 2 or 3 days, it was amazing. People shows up with bags of toilet tissue coming to school. People with PhDs. It was not just a profession. It was a calling from God. Jerry and I wrote a book called Fasting Can Change Your Life. And in that book, he tells the story of how he began a 40-day fast.
When the Lord led me to do a 40-day fast, I thought I was fasting for money to liberate Liberty University and move to another level. But after I got into that fast, the Lord instead dealt with me, and it was a time of spiritual enrichment and cultivation in my life. And then 25 days after that fast was over, God led me to another 40-day fast, which I asked the Lord for the money, the $70 million that he gave us, and launched Liberty into the 21st century.
The 25th anniversary was special. That was an ongoing celebration all year. Flags up and down the street lights. We have a special silver minted coin. In the mid-90s, the financial books were turned over to Jerry Falwell Jr. That meant he assumed the financial management of the university. Dr. Bohr came in 1997, and he gave invaluable help and guidance to get the reaffirmation of SACS for us for another 10 years.
Today, our way of life, our very freedom came under attack.
This is American Idol. The Boston Red Sox are world champions.
Hurricane Katrina roared toward the Gulf Coast.
Dr. Falwell always said it'll take 4 great things to make a great university like Liberty University. The first was spiritual environment. We do that with chapel, prayer groups, plus required Christian service of all students. And the second was academic excellence. We have many PhDs, Christian dedicated people. The third had to do with cafeteria, great dormitories. And the fourth, where kids spend their free time. And I'm standing now in our Student Activity Center given to us by many people like you. In addition, we have 5,500 acres. And on that acreage, enough for the future to do all that God has called us to do. Thank you for your help.
The Erickson property was originally the General Electric property. If God hadn't have given us the Erickson building, we couldn't have had the explosive growth from 5 to over 11,000 students we've had in the last 6 years. We could have never done it. God did it, and all things work together for the glory of God. One of the greatest things about Jerry Falwell is the planning for transition. He said, I want to make Jerry Jr. Vice Chancellor. If something happens to me, he automatically assumes the position.
If it is Christian, it ought to be better. You don't determine a person's greatness by his talent or wealth as the world does, but rather by what it takes to discourage him. Liberty University is God's boot camp for training champions for Christ.
Staff, faculty, students, a giant has fallen.
Today, I understand why God took Jerry Falwell when he did. 2 reasons, Jonathan and Jerry Jr. God knew that those boys could do the job.
And now it's a great honor for me to introduce the new Chancellor and President of Liberty University, Jerry Falwell, Jr.
We've prepared for this transition for 15 years or more. All is well at Liberty.
We've come through decades of change. Times have changed. Surely the styles of clothes have changed. But there's one thing that has never changed. That's the mission and purpose of Liberty University. I have with me today our Chancellor, Jerry Falwell, Jr., to share with you his vision of the future.
Thank you, Elmer. My vision for Liberty University is to see the university remain true to its original mission of training young champions for Christ to go out in the world in every walk of life, pastors, lawyers, businessmen, and make a real difference for Christ. And I'm committed to make that happen.
That long after we've gone to heaven, maybe 50 years from now, someone may be watching this video and hear us saying that we'd rather the property be burned to the ground and vacated than that it should ever cease to be God's university.